Hi everyone, I'm Kim Wilkinson of Empowered Life. Today is December 28th, 2019. Since the passing of my 22-year-old son last month, I've been sharing a lot of different videos about, this whole process of grieving and moving through loss in hopes to educate and to hopefully inspire and help anybody who may be struggling with this similar situation or any situation where you may be feeling grief or struggling. And so Christmas was really interesting this year. Of course, it was different without my son Tristan here. And my last video, I mentioned that I had kind of some plans and strategies to help me move through it in the best way possible. And I'm happy to say that they worked very well. What was interesting is I found that I was more emotional with the whole lead up to Christmas. Putting up a tree and decorating the house and being in the stores and hearing Christmas music, those really brought up a lot of emotion. Christmas Day, I still was sad. I still miss my son every single day and wish things could be different. But I didn't feel, I didn't fall into this pit of suffering all day. I still was able to enjoy the day and still be grieving for him at the same time. And I know for some of you that's hard to imagine, but I've been fortunate. I've been doing the work, as I like to say, for a few years now. And when you do the work, it works. You can find this balance of grieving and moving forward. And the last few days have proved that for me. Christmas dinner with our family we did on the 26th, and we did some family photos, which of course look very different now. But during some of the photos, we brought a picture of my son into the photo with us, so it was like he was there. So it really is this balance of keeping his memory alive and having him there in spirit, but still continuing on with our lives because we have to. And what I realized today, and it wasn't something that I just realized, I've known this all along, but it really reminded me of how powerful this is. And basically, it's all around our thoughts and our feelings. And what we don't realize is how powerful our thoughts and feelings are and how they can either take us really deep into suffering or can really move us through some pretty intense healing and transformation. And what it comes down to is learning to control our thoughts and our feelings. And over the last few months, I've had so many people say, "You're so strong." And I realized today, I think for me, I don't look at it as strength. What I view it as is that I'm just in control of my thoughts and my emotions as best as I can be. And that's really what it is. And that's the only thing in life we ever have control over. We have no control over anything else. So why not put our time and energy into controlling our thoughts and our feelings? And I'm not talking about, controlling the thoughts where you shut things off and you're not thinking about, the person you've lost. But it's about, making sure that your thoughts and feelings are more, present, not stuck in the past, or that they're more positive and not, negative. And I know it's easier said than done if you haven't been practicing this, but the more you practice it, the easier it gets. It's like anything else. So for me, for example, if I think about my son in the past, I can think about the suffering, or I can think about the wonderful times we had together. I can think about all the lessons, the life lessons that I learned for him and have gratitude for that. And that brings in a positive feeling or emotion rather than thinking about him suffering and then bringing in, the negative feelings and emotions. So I don't think it's necessarily that I'm strong. I mean, maybe I get strength in that, but it's really about being in control of the thoughts and the feelings. And it's a lot of work. It is. We're hardwired a certain way, and it's sometimes hard to control the thoughts. But when you're conscious and you're more aware of it, and you notice when you're thinking more negatively or you're feeling those negative emotions, you catch yourself and you shift, right? And you start to think about that person in a different way. And it's life-changing. And, it's that point of, either taking yourself deeper into suffering or moving yourself towards healing. And I think what a lot of people struggle with is guilt. I think a lot of people feel, well, if I'm not grieving, then, I'm guilty if I'm moving forward and moving on with life. And that's such a wrong thing to think. The reality is there's nothing we can do to bring that person back. Nothing. All the grieving in the world is not going to bring that person back. The best thing we can do is to keep their memory and their spirit alive in our hearts and in our memories in a good way, and continue to live life and enjoy life, because that's what they would have wanted. But we get stuck in this feeling of guilt that if I start to have fun or enjoy life, that I have forgotten about that person. We don't forget about them. We never forget about them. I still wake up every day and my son is the first thing I think of. And I will still have days going forward where I'll look at his picture and I will cry a bit. And that's okay, but I can still move forward and live life. And that was probably the biggest, takeaway for me over the past few days, was just that whole reminder that when you really do the work and you're focusing on the only thing you have control over, your environment around you, the outcome, the experiences you have moving forward are a lot more pleasant than if you fall into that place of suffering, because all you're doing is destroying yourself and eventually destroying the rest of your family around you. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. I do have so much more to share, but I want to keep these videos short. Please subscribe to the channel, share the videos. Again, I have so much more to share. I'm going to continue to share all the aha moments, the lessons, and in hopes of helping, because I know so many of you out there are going through the same thing, and or maybe it's a little bit different, but you're still suffering or struggling. And whatever the situation is, it really comes down to just being that simple. The only thing you have control over is within here. So the more you spend your time and energy focusing on what you can control, the better life is going to be around you. And there's no need to feel guilty. You can still grieve. You can still have that pain in your heart, but you can still be alive and still live. And that's the way it should be. I wish you all the best in the new year. I know so many people are, and I've caught myself, here's another perfect example. I've caught myself too, ready to be like, F you 2019. This has been the shittiest year ever. In addition to losing my son, I almost lost my father twice. There was a lot of unpleasantness for this year, but let me give you this to think about, because I've been thinking about it. Rather than saying F you 2019, I'm so done with you, I can't wait for this year to be done, I'm going to encourage you to flip that and say thank you 2019 for the lessons, for the personal growth, and for the opportunities for change or anything new that could come. Even in my situation, what I've taken away most with my dad, like I said, twice, for 2 months, he was on life support, in and out of life support, and to the point where we were almost planning a funeral. And today, he's back home. He's completely great. He's going on a trip to Jamaica. So what I've taken from that is I believe in miracles. That was an amazing lesson for me this year. Miracles happen. That's amazing. And then with my son, obviously, not such a great outcome, or not as pleasant. He passed. However, when I think about all the life lessons that he taught me and the opportunities for me to now share, to teach, and to hopefully help others, what a great gift he gave me. So there's still so much to be grateful for, even when it seems like the year has just brought nothing but shit. There's always something to be grateful for. So rather than being negative and taking that negativity into 2020, because what you're doing is just that. If you're just like, F you 2019, you're taking that negative energy with you. Leave it here. Just drop it. Thank you, 2019, for all that you taught me, for the lessons. Give that a try. It's going to help you to start to practice doing that work, shifting into gratitude instead of hate and fear. Goodness knows there's enough of that in the world, and what we really need is more love and compassion. So, Happy New Year. I wish you all the best in 2020. And again, I will be back with plenty more videos, so please subscribe and share. Thanks so much.